Price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I'm your host, Afro Elite. I appreciate you guys watching. We're going to be discussing Joy Reid. A lot of people after the election, they're losing their minds. A lot of people are acting very dramatic, really for no reason. There's fear mongering going on. There was fear mongering going on before, and now there's still a lot of fear mongering going on now. So much to the point where you have Joy Reid and MSNBC trying to instill in the LGBTQ community that they should distance themselves from their own family members because some of their family members might have voted for Donald Trump or did not vote for Harris. There was family members who didn't vote for Harris, and now they're in danger, so they need to separate from their family. So a lot of this over-the-top, dramatic response from the DNC and from the Democratic shills, a lot of this stuff needs to be discussed because these are the things that divide America. If we're going to be honest, people say that Trump is very divisive, and I'm not going to say he's not, but I'm also going to admit to the fact that the DNC is very divisive. It's either their way or the highway, and they do a lot of shaming tactics and moral shaming and try to separate, and they use very divisive, to be honest, objectively speaking, more divisive tactics than the GOP does. So we're going to discuss that. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I got this clip because this was the original one, and it goes a little bit before all of the other clips. They're a little bit more HD, but I wanted to use this clip in particular because it goes into a little bit of what Joy Reid had to say. The other clips I couldn't find where she said the full thing. So this is the longest version, which I think is probably the better version to play for this situation. So let's get started.
Challenge with
for context, so we know this is a Yale professor. This is a Yale psychiatrist, a child psychologist named Dr. Amanda Colhoun or Colhoun. I'm pronouncing the name. So this is the guest they have for MSNBC, just for context.
the idea of how do you interact with people who voted for this, right? If you are an LGBTQ person and you know someone in your family voted essentially against your rights, or you're a woman, knowing that, this man was calling people the B word. J.D. Vance was literally calling Kamala Harris the trash and said, we're going to take out the trash. I know a lot of Black women were incredibly triggered by that. And if you then meet somebody and they voted for the people who called you trash, or if you're Puerto Rican, and someone voted that way, do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
Okay, first off, I didn't hear J.D. Vance. I'm not going to say he didn't. He probably did. I did not hear him say that. But let's say he did say that. If he says that about one person, if he calls one woman the B word, that's not indicative of how he feels or the GOP feels about all women. And I'm not here to defend J.D. Vance to any degree, or the GOP to any degree at all. But to say that one individual calling someone else, another individual, the B word, makes all women get triggered, like, okay, let's calm down. There's Democrats and there's people in the DNC who be cursing out other people, and he be calling other people, women included, out of their name as well too. And then if you're gonna call her trash, how do you guys, this is why we need to really come back to reality. He's talking to her. Is Kamala Harris a reflection or a representation of all women? Do you see the reach? This is a crazy reach. Now, I didn't hear him say that, but let's say he did. Even if he did, I'm not going to deny at all that he did. But if he did say that, he's specifically talking about her as an individual. So a lot of women are triggered as if she's supposed to be the representation of all women. No, she is her own individual. If somebody says something critical about her, they're saying something critical about her. This is one of the things that the DNC tries to do, is they try to have these people come up as if there are representatives, and any attack on these people is an attack on our community by proxy. No, Harris is not one of us. She is not Foundation Black American. She's not black. That's just the point. She is a Hindu Indian. Let the Hindu Indian community, let them get offended. As a black person shouldn't be offended. As a black woman shouldn't be offended, because she's not like us. And like I'm saying, like, this is just such a stretch. This is so irrational, which is why Joy Reid in MSNBC is not taken serious. When you talk about the rights of LGBT, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. Trump has been president before. The LGBT community was fine. He didn't ban being homosexual. He's been, did you guys not know that? He did not ban being homosexual, if you guys didn't know, but that didn't happen. And it's not going to happen now. So this over the top irrational fear mongering, this is why people don't tune into MSNBC for logical information. This is why Joy Reid doesn't have any influence, because it sounds like you're reaching for the stars at this point. The election is over and you're still like doing this over the top fear mongering. But I want you to hear what this doctor, this is an actual doctor, someone who got a doctorate. I want you to actually hear what she had to say in response.
So I love that you asked this question, because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm, that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood, and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me. And I actually...
Okay. And the clip stops there. Discuss it. First off, your livelihood, define that. All this over the top, my life and my livelihood, and I won't be able to live the same. Everybody in America under Joe Biden felt like America was going in the wrong direction. Majority of America, even the people on the DNC, even the people who are for the Democrats and for blue, felt that the country was going in the wrong direction. Okay, so the whole you voting against my livelihood, our livelihood is at the bottom right now under the Democrats. So you're talking about and this is the divisive conversation and the divisive tactics that the DNC keeps saying that the GOP does. Oh, they're so hateful, they're so divisive, while the DNC is literally platforming people who are telling you need to separate from your friends and families over the holiday season because they did not vote the way you wanted them to vote. What type of sense is that? Now, let's be honest. If this same message came from Fox News, or if it came from some type of right-leaning platform, everybody in the DNC, all MSNBC, ABC, CNN, they would all be discussing this. They would all be saying that this is fear-mongering. They would all be saying that this is hateful. They would all be saying that this isn't right, this isn't moral, and people need to stick together. These are the same people who be talking about families shouldn't be separated. Families crossing the border illegally should not be separated, but yet families can be separated if they don't vote for the Democratic Party. That's what they're saying. So they don't really have a problem with you separating families. They really have a problem with the families who are not going for the Democratic Party. This type of irrational, over-the-top fear-mongering is why she lost, because when these are the people who advocate for your party, these are the people that you give platforms to, which, let's be honest, it's not likely that Joy Reid is going to keep that platform. It's very not likely. It's very likely that she's going to get demoted. They're not going to sign her contract again, or whatever the case is. If they did it to Don Lemon and they did it to other folks, they can do it to her and have her replaced with somebody who makes a little bit more sense than what she's making. And then she's going to go and maybe start a podcast or whoever or whatever. But likely, if she keeps going in this direction, she's not going to keep that platform, because this is ridiculous. You're not articulating why they should be in fear, because Donald Trump has already been president before. People actually survived. Now, a lot of people thought they were not going to survive. People survived. So for you to say that people should separate from their family right now after the election, this is insane. What you should be doing, and what your party advocates should be doing, is you should be saying, well, the election did not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, but we're still family. We're still all American. We should learn how to work with other people from across the political aisle. We should learn how to agree with people's differences and come together, especially during this holiday season, because this was a very divisive political season. So this holiday season, we should come together. We should sit down. We should have family meals, and we should enjoy each other's company, and realize that we all want what is best for America. That is the message that you should be pushing out, that they should be pushing out. That's a mature message. That's a message that shows that that you see what's best for America and for the American people, besides what's best for your individual party. But right now, the DNC is acting so bitter and immature and salty. This whole thing, that whole thing that they did, you could not possibly say anything. I'm literally trying to think. You cannot possibly say anything that is more salty and bitter. You're acting like sore losers. For real. This is sore loser talk right there. Not being around your family. And the thing is that a lot of people are not trying to blow this up, because this was a terrible look. But had this happened on the right side, which would still be as wrong, but if it happened on the right side, CNN, MSNBC, Joy Reid would literally be out there criticizing the same thing that she just said she was going to do. She would literally be doing that. This is ridiculous. And this over the top, super irrational, emotional response to you not getting your way is why people are leaving the party. Because y'all are looking like a bunch of nutcases. You guys are looking crazy. You guys are looking divisive, and you're looking almost cult-ish. That's cultish. If you're not going my way politically, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to separate myself and disown my own family because of their political views. I'm not going to have a conversation and try to meet them in the middle. No, it's my way or the highway. And you talk about other people acting like a cult. And I'm not going to sit up there and say there are some people or no people on the Republican side who don't act that way. But you don't see them out here making a platform telling people if they don't vote for Trump, they should not go to a Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner. You don't see people doing that. And this is the same thing that you all preach against. You preach against hate. You preach against anti-democracy, and you preach against people not wanting to come together and divisiveness. But that's what you're doing when people don't go your way, which is why people don't listen to you. This over-the-top fear-mongering, it's time for us to all be mature and have an adult conversation. Let's be adults. Let's be adults. Everybody's going to be, you're going to be okay. Everybody's going to be okay. Now, it is something else I wanted to show you all. I wanted to show you all this real quick. This also comes from MSNBC. So MSNBC, they say something about the fact that trans people are going through an uptick in their crisis calls. So it says LGBTQ advocacy organizations have reported a flood of calls and chats to their crisis communication hotlines after Donald Trump won the election this week, following a campaign that is rife with anti-trans attacks. Well, let's be honest. A lot of the trans stuff was going way too far. Honestly, it was going way too far. Even people in the LGBTQ community agreed that it was going too far. This is something that they don't want to admit to, but this is the truth. That stuff was going way too far. There was people who are trans who were saying that stuff was going way too far. But continuing, the Trevor Project, a nonprofit that provides mental health crisis services to LGBTQ people, reported a nearly 700% increase in reach out to its crisis service. On November 6th, the day after the election, the organization said it saw, quote, significantly high outreach from LGBTQ plus youth people needing support and direct response to the election results. And I'm gonna pause right here. That is why. Did you guys not know he was president before? Is this news to somebody? Is this breaking? Am I breaking news? Did people really not know that he was president before? What do you got on a 700%? This show, y'all, this is why people did not listen to y'all. Because this is so over the top. Y'all are so dramatic. And this is why nobody took y'all argument serious. Because of how over the top and dramatic y'all are. Everything is an Armageddon to y'all. Continuing, and we're going to continue with the paragraph. It says, 1/3 of those who contacted its crisis service after the election identified themselves as Black, Indigenous, or people of color, the organization said. As far as Black people, I don't, nah. Let's be honest. Black people, we've been through way worse than anything Donald Trump can put us through. We literally been through chattel slavery. All right. Centuries of chattel slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, and then stuff we are still currently going through today. And Donald Trump has been president. We survived that. We will survive another term. This is all this dramatic over the top. We're all going to lose is the end of the world. Armageddon stuff is so dramatic and unrealistic. Can we all be adults, please? Please. Scrolling down, it says, the day after the election, the Washington Post reported that the Rainbow Youth Project, a nonprofit advocacy group for LGBTQ youth, had received more calls in the first 6 days of November than it received in an average month. Okay. Trump vows to strip trans people of their rights as a big part of his election pitch. Okay. Here's the thing. From what I've heard him say is that he's just going to stop the thing about them being in schools and children, which I fully agree with. I could not tell you I agree more with that as a thing. Now, an adult doing what an adult want to do, okay, whatever. You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. You can do surgery. You can do whatever. As an adult, that's a different thing. As a child, that should be 1,000% off limits. And the DNC does not put that regulation there. There is no regulation on that being pushed towards children. It's literally in schools at this point. So yes, it's in schools. It's in children's sports. Yes. First off, it shouldn't be in sports at all either, but especially in children's schools. It's gone too far. All right. It continues to say he flooded the airwaves with ads targeting trans rights and vilifying trans women in sports. And okay, so what they say is that these are biological males attending the sports category with a bunch of biological females, and the biological males are saying that they're trans women, so they should be able to play against biological women, and the trans women who are biological males, because you can't never not be a biological male or female. If that's what you are, that's what you're staying as. These biological males have an advantage, a physical advantage over biological females. And a lot of women are saying that that's not fair. So a lot of women agree with this too, because they've been trying to sue and say that's not fair, which is another reason why you don't see this happening on the other side. You don't see a whole bunch of biological females going into biological male sports categories. You don't see that. Continues to say, Republicans have also spent much of the past few years enacting legislation to curtail trans rights and demonizing trans people. The rights. Okay, that's arguable, but okay. Because they don't really specify that stuff. They don't really specify which rights and all that. And then it says, NBC News exit poll shows that a huge majority of gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgenders voters surveyed supported Harris in this election, while fewer LGBT voters cast their vote for the Republican candidate in the race than in any of the three previous presidential elections. Yet, after a stinging defeat, some Democrats have suggested that the party should not be, quote, pandering to the far left, a proposal that my colleague Hayes Brown called, quote, an instinct based on fear that should be rejected loudly and firmly from all corners of the party. It continues to say transgender Americans have said the president-elect relentless attacks on their community are taking a toll. A high school senior in North Carolina told the Post on Monday that it was hard seeing, quote, so much hatred for my community. Austin Johnson, a research director at the Campaign for Southern Equality and a sociology professor in Kenyon College, told the New York Times of the Trump-backed anti-trans ads, quote, there's a bit of shame or embarrassment, like a loss of dignity, when I'm watching one of those ads, knowing my friends or my colleagues are also watching it. Research has shown that trans adults experience higher rates of self-deletion, we can't say that word on YouTube, self-deletion and self-deletion attempts than their cisgendered, which means biological people, counterparts. That means a biological male that says they're a male, or biological female that says she's a female, says she's a woman, or in a biological male that says he's a man. It says a study by Trevor Project found that between 2018 and 2022, there is a significant increase in self-deletion attempts among transgenders and non-binary youth in states where anti-trans laws were enacted, with those younger than 18 years old experiencing the sharpest increase in self-deletion attempt rates. And then it gives the crisis hotline. Now, let's be very mature. Let's have a mature thing. I'm not going to be fear-mongering. I'm not going to say I don't care. Let's be very mature with this. A lot of the self-deletion, if we're going to be very honest to solve, because it's a big problem, if we're going to be very honest to solve this problem, a lot of this is not because people do not accept you. A lot of this is because these people who are making these attempts have internal issues. And instead of society saying, the fact that you are a biological male and you really believe that you are a female, really believe that you are a woman, and you're trying to change yourself and be something that you are physically not, is concerning, and we need to have a conversation about that. One of the big issues, because I want to fix the problem, one of the big issues is the fact that we keep sitting up there trying to placate, and we keep trying to ignore the real problem. These people need help. And this isn't me being shameful. This isn't me kicking them down or anything. If these people do need help, they need professional help. We shouldn't be sitting up there just saying, okay, whatever reality you want to be, we're just going to go along with the reality you want to be, because internally these people are hurting because they're trying to achieve something that physically they can never achieve. So we need to have a conversation about, why do you, as a biological male or a biological female, not want to accept the fact that you are what you are? As a black person, I can never not be a black person. I can never be an Asian person. I can never be a white person. If I was trying to bleach my skin and straighten my nose and do all of this type of surgery, people would tell me that I have self-hate issues, and people would tell me I need to seek professional help. So why do we not have that same standard and understanding when it comes to people wanting to change their sex? If anybody said, I want to remove all of the melanin out of my skin, I'm going to permanently straighten my hair, I'm going to straighten my nose, I'm going to thin my lips, I'm going to change my body to the best degree I can so I can be an Asian person, people would say you have self-hate issues. and you need professional help, because you should not feel that way about yourself. You shouldn't feel that way about your race. You are born this way, and you should be proud to be born this way. So why are we not, as a society, mature and honest enough to tell them that if you are born a male, you should accept that? That's a good thing. If you are born a female, you should accept that. That is a good thing. And you should love that about yourself. But instead, we say, you can change. It doesn't matter. And they can't. They can't. That's just not reality. They can never be born something different. That is just not the reality of the situation, no matter how many surgeries, no matter how much you try, no matter how much you pretend. And this is not hateful. This is really out of solving the problem. So the problem is the self-hate that they have. It's not the fact that they can't play in the sport that they want to play in. That's not the problem. And these people don't really care about fixing the problem, because what I said is the real problem, and these people are not acknowledging that. Family, I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. What do you think about the Joy Reid and the MSNBC trying to fearmonger and talk about you should separate from your families because they voted a different way from you? So if they voted for Harris or Biden or whatever, or the Democrats, then you can be around your actual family and friends, but because they didn't, you can't be around them. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about the crisis hotline going up. So let me know what you think about that and what the solution really needs to be. Also, I need you guys to be following me on my various social media platforms. That's Afro Elite on Instagram, and then The Afro Elite on Twitter. And the links to both of those are in the description. Please do not forget to hit that like button. Very important. Please, if you like this channel, if you like the messaging of this channel coming from this channel, I would appreciate if you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, double check to make sure you guys are still subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any live, any video, anything at all. You guys get to stay tuned and locked in. I appreciate you guys. Hit that notification bell and then leave a comment letting me know exactly what you think. Now, with that being said, be one, my brothers and sisters. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you very much. You have a good one.